Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside the ballpark, to the Noved podcast, where we talk to many different creators and communities inside the platform. I'm your host, NovedPlayer, and today on episode 90, we have an amazing VTuber who recently did a re-debut for their birthday, who is making waves here around the VR chat platform. We have SkullsNightShade. Skulls, welcome on the podcast. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you for having me. Yes, I am. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, doing good. So for the general listening audience at home, who may not be aware, who exactly is SkullsNightShade?
Me? Well, I am a full-time VTuber. I'm also an event host, so I host events in a variety of MMOs. I'm the official host for SEGA's show Phantasy Star House Party, which is for Phantasy Star Online 2. I'm also an ambassador for VCAT, so I help out with Virtual Market, host events through that, and join in the World Hops. I do music. I do a variety of different things. If you want to know more about me, all I say is check out my streams. I yap about myself and talk to the community and stuff like that. So you guys are welcome to join.
Yeah, of course. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for accepting the invitation to come on. This is a blast to have you on. I would say,
of course.
I would say, so I guess out of curiosity, with every VTuber, right, the name and the persona mean everything. So what exactly inspired the name SkullsNightShade?
Well, my old username used to be Kawaii Skulls, so like cute skulls. And that actually came from a random email I made to do a free trial on Netflix back in the day. And then I was like, that sounds really cute. And I wanted to make a Twitch. So I went with Kawaii Skulls. And after a while, that kind of didn't really feel like me. And I've always been really intrigued with like the nightshade flower because there's so many different things, so many different plants are nightshades, like things we eat every day. And then there's like the poisonous plants, and the poisonous nightshade is purple. So I figured we evolved that name Kawaii Skulls. So we went from cute skulls to deadly skulls, basically.
No, I mean that. There we go. Say that. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, it's definitely an interesting start. Going from a Netflix username into a more Twitch-like name. That's really cool. I didn't know that's very interesting. Because obviously, with your whole aesthetic, you have kind of the whole, the Guardian of the Afterlife aesthetic, the Queen of Fashion, the Chaos Demon VTuber, if you will. So out of curiosity, what kind of inspired you to go, with your persona when it comes to VTubing?
It's very much me. It's just like me plus, I feel like, because I kind of have the same aesthetic in real life. Like I dress very goth and I like very like scene-like hair and things like that. So I guess to not break immersion, it's exactly like my voice actress. So it's just, I guess the anime girl version, the evolved version.
No, fair. I mean, it's definitely, I feel like that's common with a lot of VTubers. There's, a little bit of real personification within themselves with their VTuber and everything. So it's always cool to see.
I think that's a really good way to be, honestly. Like it adds a level of like, I don't know, it just makes it so personal to have like a little bit of myself in my VTuber and my lore and my aesthetic. And with the debut that you recently mentioned, I made sure that now everything is more myself than like I've ever presented. And it makes me really happy. So, yeah.
No, of course. And, kind of to go back the timeline a little bit. So what exactly got you into VTubing in the first place? Like what kind of inspired you to like go into VTubing?
Well, I already did streaming and things like that. And way back in the day, like, I'm going to age myself, like MySpace days and things like that. I used to always have, like on MySpace and DeviantArt and stuff like that, I used to always have an OC that I would go by. And back then it was like a Sonic OC, But eventually it kind of evolved into an anime OC, and I would just like re-edit pictures of anime characters I like to be my character. When I didn't do the art myself. But yeah, it was kind of a combination of like my entire internet personality as a whole. And I'm like, hey, I get to be a cool anime girl.
Fair.
And the funny thing is, it started as a temporary thing that I would just do occasionally. And eventually I'm like, no, I think I want to actually like dive into this, which I still show my face every so often, but I don't know. It's just something about VTubing is it's just a way that I can express myself and like my style and the things that I like differently than everything else.
No, I gotcha. I mean, yeah, I would say there's definitely a lot different things when it comes to like normal streaming versus VTubing, for sure.
Hmm.
But so I guess out of curiosity, you were doing streaming for a while, of course. But was there like
Yeah.
was there a particular thing that made you drawn, or a particular person that like drew you into like oh, that's something I want to do when it comes to like going into VTubing? Like, was there like an inspiration behind it?
Um, kind of. It went for me just generally seeing it, but then like I sat down and watched like an old Iron Mouse stream, and I don't know, I was like, that looks really cool. Like it's so expressive, it's so cute. Like you can tell it's very her, it's very fitting. Um, and then what I think it's like Kazuna I, the like first VTuber. I actually found her because I was playing a mobile game called Epic 7, and they were having like a VTuber like collab with her to have her as a character, and she was a really strong character. And I was like, what is a VTuber? And then kind of like when I kind of found out and like learned more about her, I went back to like that Iron Mouse moment, and I was just like, oh, that's really cool. So there were a few little moments that kind of led to that, and eventually it was kind of like it felt like it was like, duh, this is something you should be doing. Like this is something you've always wanted to do. Like if VTubing was a thing maybe like 20 years ago, I'd probably still be VTubing.
Fair. I feel like a lot of people would be in that same category. um,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
I mean, it does great. It gives that personification of yourself that you want to put out there while still maintaining
Hmm.
yourself. At least for most VTubers. Some VTubers, it's a little bit different. Obviously, not all VTubers are the same. But it's definitely a crazy thing at the end of the day. So I guess
Yeah.
kind of to go into that a little bit. So obviously with VTubing, and you streaming beforehand, did you notice like a major difference when it came like to how you feel about streaming when you did regular streams versus VTubing?
Yeah, definitely. It takes me a lot less time to get ready. I used to do like my hair, like a full face of makeup and stuff like that. And like now I don't like do that. Like I wear light makeup normally, but like that takes me like 5 minutes instead of like 2 hours to get ready. Um, Now the transition from regular streaming to VTubing, and that was actually difficult because like a lot of people weren't really with it then. Like it was very 2020. So people weren't really like, I mean, people are still discovering what VTubing is, and it blows my mind, but like it's still really niche and was way more niche back then. So a lot of people actually stopped watching me because they were like, I don't like it that you don't show your face. So it was kind of hard making that transition in audience because it was like the people that were like, we're here for you regardless. The people who liked me before VTubing, and then the people I brought in as a VTuber. But I feel like my community is very close now. And I think that level of like nicheness, of course, with like what I already do is play like MMOs, and a lot of those are really niche too. It gives like people a place where they can feel a bit more comfortable. So I've noticed the community change a bit. I've noticed myself change a bit too. Like I'm a lot more confident as a VTuber. Um, and like, I'm a good looking lady normally, but I don't know what it is about VTubing. I feel like I can be like myself the way that I want to be.
No, absolutely. And 100% agreed. It's definitely it's a different style, and not everybody's going to be with that
Yeah.
said style. Going from flesh tuber to VTuber. That was weird. I'm never saying that again. Flesh tubers are weird. I know, like a lot of people call it that. That's weird. Ugh. I felt weird
Flesh
saying
tuber.
that. I know so many people say like real as a streamer versus a VTuber. I'll just keep it that.
Yeah.
That felt weird. Um, you know, it, moving on. It definitely is a like you said, it's a niche, right? Especially with
Hmm.
the role-playing games and MMOs and all that. It's even more of a niche. And but it definitely does stick out because most VTubers, they'll play whatever the popular games are. Like you got all the games like
Yeah.
Repo, Peak, all the friends, multiplayer games, all that type of
Yeah.
stuff. But to be passionate about a certain style of game, and a certain brand, it makes it fit, and that is a part of who you
Hmm.
are. So obviously, and I kind of we kind of mentioned this earlier, because you used to do well, I believe you still do like a bunch of stuff for Fantasy Star Online, and
Hmm.
being an official Sega creator. So out of curiosity, like how did that come to be?
Well, I've been playing Fantasy Star Online to New Genesis, not like the OG one, since it launched. And it's funny because when I went full time, that was the game that I was playing. So I was like grinding like 12 hours a day. I would just be wandering around. There really wasn't much to do early game. Um, and it took a lot for me to even make a name for myself in that community because I wasn't embraced, I would say, at the beginning. It was kind of like at some points it was like, okay, well, just kind of group me in with all the other like females who play Fantasy Star rather than like everyone kind of having their own identity and standing out. Um, but yeah, I just grinded. I just did what made me happy. I liked wandering around. I played a little bit different than everyone else. I kind of like spent that time doing nothing, bonding with my chat. And eventually, Sega took notice. They took notice, and I noticed G Wiz, I always call her G Wiz Senpai, kind of was like around my chat a little more. I noticed that like the Fantasy Star channel was in my chat a little more. And I actually first found out because someone gifted a bunch of subs and they got one. And I was like, that's so funny. And then they said something in chat, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And eventually, I was with an agency very briefly, and they got me an interview for TwitchCon with GWiz. It was supposed to be with someone else, but kind of like, I don't know, fate put us together. And we got along really well. We talked really well. They liked the way like I presented myself and presented everything. And Sega's very particular about how they like things. So they also kind of like they like the compliance with also like me still being myself. And then they had an idea for a show, and they were like, hey, we thought of you when it comes to this because we see your events and games because they watch my streams. We see like the hard work you put into it. We see you bringing people together. And you've worked with us before in this interview, so how about we test it out with a pilot episode? And funny enough, the pilot episode was on my birthday that year. So that was a really cool way to celebrate my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
But
For
yeah,
sure.
and now I work with them. Like every time they need a house party show. And of course I do my own thing too. Like I'm a fan of Sonic, I'm a fan of Phantasy Star. And most of my events are either community curated or like I did them. But it is still really nice to be able to also give people that opportunity to show off like their work in game on the official channel.
No, absolutely.
I rambled a bit on that one.
No, you're
It just
okay.
means a lot to me.
No, of course, and that's what we're about here. So obviously, you've had a lot of moments over the years when it comes to streaming and VTubing. So I guess out of curiosity, like, what's a memory from your streams or maybe your videos that still holds like a deep place in your heart?
Uh, there's a lot. There's actually a lot. I feel like I build those memories mostly with my chat during during marathon streams. And like I swear I have core memories that are just tied to marathon streams. Um, but one of the things I think of is there was one time that I was in Phantasy Star and I was hosting Ship 3 Festival for the first time. It's a really big yearly festival we have on our ship, which is in that game, it's your server. And I was typing something out and accidentally typed my name as Scus. And they have never, it's been like 3 years and they have never let me live that down. Like they just call me Scus now. But yeah,
right.
that's definitely one of them. We'd be here all day if I go through all of them, but there's a lot.
Of course. I mean, yeah, they'll unfortunately with streamers and making very small errors, chat will never live them down. Chat will never ever live them down. The amount of times I've gotten told like, "Oh, is that hat from One Piece?" I'm like, no, you don't know. Apparently, you don't know me well enough to know that, like, what I do. But the amount of times I've had to explain that part alone is not fun, to say the least.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh man,
sometimes I feel like a broken record.
Yep, 100%. I mean, it is what it is. We make these mistakes, and at least people get amusement out of it, like it's
yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it may be at our own expense, but it's fine.
Most of the time, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things that may or may not go wrong, because obviously with streaming a bunch, it can be very taxing, to say the least. Which can lead to like, mental strain and burnout, and stuff like that. So out of curiosity, what is something that keeps you motivated when streaming? What keeps you motivated when like streaming or events become overwhelming?
I know it probably sounds like the cliche thing to say, but legitimately, it's my audience. It's them, because like there's times where I'm too sick to host an event, or things become overwhelming. I know I had one year where the last like 4 months was just event after event, and I was coordinating them myself and everything. And it was very stressful, but I just think about the enjoyment that they have from it. Or even like the debut I did recently, like that was extremely stressful for me to get everything right, get everything the way that I wanted. And then I deal with my own mental health struggles as is. So, kind of getting in my own head. And but I think about like their reaction to it, like how it's going to impact them. I mean, I've had events where people message me after. Actually, that happens very often now. People message me after, or I hear that people made friends during the event, or they got out of their shell and they only went to the event because they saw me streaming it and they thought, why not? And it's just those little moments kind of replay in my head over and over and over. And I'm like, no, I can make it through this. And the biggest thing also is like acknowledging when you need a break, which I'm really bad at, but I've been trying to make an effort to do to prevent the burnout as well. So you can make those things that give them that happiness the best that you can make them.
That's a mood.
Yeah.
That's a big mood. Oh my! I don't want to see a single one of you in chat, right? Yeah, just like Noved, shut. I know you. I know y'all typing it. Calm yourselves. but in all seriousness, I mean that's very valid. A lot of it comes from the audience and the viewers that show their support, and that is a very relatable statement. I think a lot of people can agree with.
Yeah.
And it, especially when our times are low, when it comes to like dealing with stuff, it's usually the friends and the homies, and the people that are dedicated to enjoying what we're putting out that really make us keep going. And that is a very relatable thing.
Yeah.
And obviously, kind of to backtrack a little bit. So obviously you started out with streaming and stuff, way back in the day. And then obviously you went into VTubing, and then later on, if I'm recalling the timeline correctly, that's when you started to use VR chat a little bit more, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah,
Perfect.
well, I mean, I tried it back when I was a flesh tuber, I guess. Pre VTubing, and I played it a little bit, but I didn't play it a whole lot. It was definitely I got more into it not only when I started VTubing, but when I actually got like my VTuber model in VR chat. So maybe a couple years ago, because I've had my account for 7 years, right? Like I have the 7 year badge, but I didn't really put in most of my hours until maybe 2 years ago.
That's fair. So I guess out of
hmm
curiosity, what kind of originally got you interested in VR chat in the first place?
it was I don't know, it just looked pretty cool. It looked back in the day, my friend pulled me in with Never Have I Ever, in the like big grass field.
Classic.
And um it was I don't know, it was just cool. It kind of gave me the MMO vibe. It looked a bit more immersive. And my friends would always talk about like the cool things that they did or like cool worlds that they saw. And I'm like, that sounds really interesting. So I gave it a try. Unfortunately, after that, I didn't really like give myself the best experience. I was just kind of like, I'd hop in, I'd go to like public worlds, and sometimes it would be fun, and sometimes it would definitely not be fun. And then I would just go by myself and like kind of hop around and check places out until I got bored.
I mean, that's fair. I feel
So
like that's
yeah,
very common.
yeah,
um, and obviously, you stated that you took a break from VR chat for a while. Um, so
yeah.
I guess out of curiosity, what kind of brought you back? Like, what kind of made you want to come back into VR chat?
Well, I mean, I would come in for my birthday because like most people could play VR chat and like we hang out together, and then like New Year's every year. But what really made me want to come back, what's funny enough, was I did a post looking for people who were Sonic fans, and I met Emma through that post. And then we found out, or Emma asked me if I played VR chat, and kind of showed me like project community. And then from project community, I found VCat, and like being within those and like learning that there's so many like sub communities and so many like places that if I want to find a place to do that thing that I like or spend a lot of time in VR chat or like any interest I had, like there is a place for that and there's a comfortable place for that. And like once I discovered that and kind of started joining in those things a little bit more, then I started playing VR chat all the time.
No, of course. I mean, it's definitely a great place. I'm totally not biased.
hmm
But it but at the end of the day, with events like Project Community and Virtual Market, it's definitely a place where people can find many different homes inside of VR. Whether it's role
hmm
play communities or, performance organizations or I mean many, many more. um it's definitely a place or places that people can enjoy VR chat for what it truly is. And
hmm
that's one of the reasons why I work so diligently with them, because I believe in that 100%.
Yeah.
um
Oh, definitely.
so I guess that kind of begs the question a little bit, because obviously, doing streaming and VTubing, and then doing a little bit more VR chat as time progressed, and getting more into VR chat as of late. So out of curiosity, how has VR chat helped you grow like as a content creator?
Man, the people you'd meet in VR chat is crazy. I don't know, I've just met people and I've always been really good at socializing in person. It's just like in person, I get a lot of anxiety. So this is kind of like a barrier from that. So I can still socialize and like talk to people and meet people without that like layer of anxiety I have to always deal with. But yeah, like I mean, I've met a lot of other content creators. I've learned things from a lot of content creators. I've gotten opportunities just because I've like met people and hung out with them, and they work at this place or they do sponsorships for this place or like whatever. And then, we talk and end up working together. So it's, I don't know how to like explain VR chat. It almost feels like an alternate reality. I don't know. It's virtual reality, but it almost feels like I don't know, like it's like a smaller version of the whole world. So like you can meet like a lot of people who do a lot of things and it's a little more condensed.
I mean, that's a
But yeah, that's
pretty way.
definitely helped. Like I've leveled up a lot because of VR chat. Definitely like the experience I've gotten, the like what I've learned as a content creator and like the things I've gotten to do have been pretty crazy just like in the past year.
No, for sure. I mean, a lot of things that's happened in the last year, especially for your side of things, as well as like past couple of years. I mean, you've done many different projects. You had a talk show.
Mm-hmm.
You've done many different collabs with many different streamers. Getting to work with alongside all these people, and it's a lot. You do a lot of amazing stuff, and it's very commendable. I'll say it's definitely a crazy thing to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess out of curiosity, because you've done all these different projects, different shows, you know, different games with different people around the world. So I guess, what is it like to be able to interact with people all across the world, at pretty much no cost? VR is a big staple when it comes to that, of course, but the streaming world is the
Yeah.
same thing.
It's awesome. I don't know, like it's kind of a dream come true because I remember when I was younger, I always said like I wanted to be like an international superstar, right? And like I know that's a little silly, but it was always like the reach to like be able to like meet people in so many different places, especially when I started getting connected online because like a lot of my friends online were like from different countries and we only had so many ways to communicate. So I don't know. It's just having that kind of anytime it literally does feel like a dream come true. Like I get to interact with so many people that if we didn't have things like VR chat, if I didn't have the ability to do things like stream and create content, like I'd never ever interact with, you know, and I would get to meet so many wonderful people that way.
No, of course. I mean, it's an amazing thing. Technology has grown since MySpace. No,
Yes, since the MySpace days.
as somebody who also had MySpace, I had to poke fun a little bit. But yeah, no, I mean it's a crazy thing. But I guess in a more of a fun question for you, because obviously, you being a Sega person when it comes to a lot of your favorite games and stuff. So I guess one of the questions
Hmm.
I've always wanted to ask you, in your personal opinion, what is the most underrated Sega game of all time?
Underrated. I don't know because I just want to go with my favorite game, Sonic Adventure 2, but I feel like everyone appreciates Sonic Adventure 2, so I
Very
can't really
much.
say it's underrated. Hmm. I think anything from the Knight series. I think Knights is like the most underrated Sega series in general because it's really fun. It's a really good series. It's aesthetically pleasing. It has a really good story. And it's just kind of like, why haven't we got a remake yet or a continuation? Or like, she's going to be in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, but still, I'm like, I think we need some more love there. And I'm sure everyone has a different one because like Sega's done so many different projects that like a lot of them are so good and just never really made it to the spotlight again or get talked about enough.
No, I mean, Knights is a good shout out for sure. I mean, there's definitely a lot of games that Sega has created over the years, that
Yeah.
could probably fit in that same category. I was just genuinely curious. um,
Yeah, of course.
so obviously, you kind of already you briefly mentioned Project Community, earlier. So obviously, this is also your first time exhibiting at Project Community. at Project Fest.
Hmm.
So I guess out of curiosity, for it being your first time exhibiting at a VR convention, and if I recall correctly, you've been to like IRL conventions and stuff.
Hmm.
So out of curiosity, how did you feel like participating in a virtual convention versus like some of the IRL experiences you've had?
It felt really nice because I haven't been able to like go to conventions like I'd like to. I used to go to conventions a lot. Like I was an avid con goer, but it did feel really nice because I did get that feeling. But like I could connect with my audience, and it's much easier for them than to like be like, "Hey, I'm doing this convention." Let's say because I used to do a lot in Florida, so I'm doing this one in Florida. But like, so my audience, we just talked about talking to people internationally, live across the world, some live across the country, and I don't know. It was just really nice because I could get like both of those feelings in one.
No, I mean that's absolutely fair. It's always it's always something that I always think about because a lot of people in VR they have been to like conventions like Comic Con or TwitchCon or
Hmm.
MagFest, Games Done Quick. I mean, there's a ton out there. Let's be real. Um,
Yeah.
but it's always something that I like to ask people that go to these conventions. Like, how do you think it compares? Like, do you think it's more interesting? Do you think there's things that could be done in real life that is done in VR? Like, there's 100 different questions you could ask on that front alone. Um, you know,
Yeah.
and obviously having your own booth this year, um, you definitely had a lot of people interested coming through your booth, even when you were not there. There were some good times that people were like, "Oh, that's cool! Like, what's this thing?" Like they always grab some of the items off your booth. So I guess out of curiosity, because with VR conventions and stuff, and putting yourself out there, do you think that it's a good way to like put yourself out there when it comes to being a VTuber?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, think about it. A lot of people, the VR chat to VTuber pipeline is very strong. A lot of people who stream in VR chat may not consider themselves VTubers, but like, they're kind of on the same front. Um, and a lot of people like to watch that content. And I feel like the best place to find people who want to watch like VR style content or even VTuber content to a degree is definitely in VR chat. So I think it's really important. I also have a booth at this upcoming VCAT as well. So I'm really excited to see like where that goes to since it's my first time displaying there, second time displaying at a con. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good opportunity. I think it's really important. Networking is very important in general, but I think like being able to kind of show a piece of yourself because like I know there's a lot of things I found, whether they're like other streamers or communities or things of interest, just because I saw it and like the aesthetic, and I'm like, ooh, what's that? And then you know, it might connect with people a different way in VR chat.
No, for sure. And obviously I mean, as we're recording this, I mean, VCAT will be going on at that moment. So if you're not already aware, you should go look for Skull's booth. You should definitely go check it out.
Yes, it's at VCAT Mart.
Hell yeah. But it's definitely a crazy thing, and it it just goes to show that, you can do anything in VR within legal reason. I'm going to say that every
Hmm.
time I say that, within legal reason.
Yes, of
Um,
course.
but I mean, you've had a lot of huge things pop up as of recently, when it comes to, you know, being in VR chat as well as your VTubing. Like like we mentioned earlier, you had a whole new re-debut. Your birthday just
Hmm.
happened recently, which included your very first like VR chat world. So I
Hmm.
guess out of curiosity, what kind of made you want to have a world created essentially?
Well, I've always liked writing stories, and back when I was younger, I used to draw manga. And every time I create something new, I always put like iterations of those old things into it, right? So, like the Afterlife as the world that I present as like my VTubers lore and um like my VTuber's background has so many pieces from like my old manga series that I've like created over the years too. So I just kind of wanted to bring that to life and have a place where like one, I can be more immersive with streams because I'm actually in the afterlife, you know, we can hang out there, but also like people can come to basically the world that was like in my mind. So bringing that to life was really important. And that was the main focus of it when I made it. But people seem to really like the world. It's gotten a lot of visits and a lot of favorites. So
I mean, you definitely had an amazing person create it. So
yes, Shopao is amazing. Shout out to Shopao. He was the world designer. I wanted to work on it. And because of you rating me that one day when I was doing the marathon saving up for the VR chat world, he ended up showing up and I was able to ask him. But yeah, like I really like one of the things that got me into VR chat again as well was like going to Shopao's worlds. Like I really, really like his worlds and I'm a huge fan of them. And having him make my world was like a whole dream come true. So yeah.
I mean,
and he did outstanding.
Oh, 100%. Hello, everyone. Real quick, just want to pause the episode right here. I want to thank you all so much for watching this far. If you're interested in checking out some of the other content or staying up to date on all my other content, including the podcast, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really does help me out a lot. And speaking of that, we now officially have all of the merch here on YouTube, from Squad Forever Fest to DJ Noved to Noved Notes merch. All the merch is now here on YouTube. So you no longer have to go to the merch site itself. It's all directly here. But of course, if you want to learn more about VR chat and maybe attend some of the events that I hold, feel free to join the Noved squad at noved.6608. We're trying to hit 1,500 by the end of the year. So make sure to join the Noved squad and attend some of the events. There's some amazing stuff coming up, not only at the end of this year, but also in 2026. So make sure to stay tuned. But let's get back into the episode. Woo! Yeah, no, he told me, he's like, hey, so I'm doing a thing for Skulls, and I'm like, fucking bet. Like, I was so excited because like as soon as he may have leaked it to me, I'm like, good.
Yes.
I know, like, you're gonna do great. I know, like, yeah, I knew he was gonna do great with it, and he teased me a little bit of like how the progression's going, because I mean we share progress with our stuff a lot.
Yeah,
you know, as long as we don't sign NDAs. But
yeah, of course.
But you know, he's like, yeah, I got this room here, I got this, that. I'm like, what if you had like these little things here? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to go look at the world yourself. But
yeah, there's a Noved surprise in there.
Yeah, not really a Noved surprise, but it's a goofy thing of yours that you may have given me for your PJKT booth. I'm like, you should add this in there.
Yes.
Or actually a few things, but yeah, little images you sent, some derpy images you may have sent me that I think I was like, this deserves a spot. But I mean, realistically, I'm always about bringing people together. And I'm really glad that you got to work with Shopao is an amazing world creator, and I'm not going to talk too much about him. Yeah, I love you, Sho, but if you want to learn more about him, you can go check out his episode. I believe it's like episode 7, I believe. Go look at that episode. But it's definitely a crazy thing. What that can do for, you know, a VTuber, because obviously, you know, you can have a VR chat group, right? You can have your avatar portray you. You can exhibit at these conventions, but to have a world, it's a whole new experience that people can enjoy, you know, and maybe learn a little bit more of what you like and like what your aesthetic is, maybe a story driven thing, whatever. It's definitely a crazy thing. You know, so, and obviously, back to the point of, you know, the re-debut, I mean, you did a whole party for your re-debut, long stream for your debut. So I guess out of curiosity, because you've had multiple different versions of yourself throughout the years, so out of curiosity, you know, kind of time for the VTuber timeline. So out of curiosity, like from your very first one till now, like, what was kind of the story progression between the different models of VTubing?
They were just kind of like, as I grew and kind of found myself as a person, found myself as a content creator, it reflected on my VTuber model a little bit more each time. So like my first model was actually a 3D model, and it was very simple. She had like a black skirt, black shirt, some like thigh-high boots, and like black horns, and then black and silver hair. And then the next one was kind of like a growth of that, right? Like she had the same hair, different outfit. We had 2D model. And I just kept like growing on that, like as I changed. It for me, like it's kind of like, when you're like either going through something or having like a big growth moment in your life and you want to shave your face or change your hair or like kind of change your clothes a little bit and go shopping, buy something new. Like that's how it is when I update my VTuber model to be more like how I feel myself. So yeah.
It's definitely a valid thing. I mean, I feel like every VTuber goes through at least one different iteration of themselves. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, you said the best, growing and, doing a different style that best represents you after time moves on. I mean, I definitely agree with that. That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah.
So obviously, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about your community, the Afterlife. So, what exactly was the inspiration behind the behind the Afterlife, like with the name and everything?
Well, I just kind of wanted it to be, I don't know. I've always like cryptic dead things. I don't know. I've always like stuff like that. Like, but also I wanted it to be an escape from reality because I know like for a while, when I first started making content, I wanted to kind of like dive into the things that were happening around the world. And I just realized like that just like I didn't feel very happy after that. Like I felt like everything just felt so bleak, and I wanted to change it to be a place where people can escape that, right? Like we know what's going on around the world. We know the hardships around the world. We know the stuff we deal with in our, in our countries, in our homes, and I don't know, just in general. And I wanted to have it as a place where it's like, hey, you can escape the real world for a little bit and we'll just have fun and play games or talk about nonsense or whatever the deal is. And then I kind of embedded that into the lore of the Afterlife as like me making it that place for people.
I mean, it's definitely that. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, at the end of the day, and I feel this is very true as well when I say this. VR chat gives you somewhat of an escape from the detriment of life. You get the chance to talk to friends across the world and all that type of stuff, as we mentioned earlier. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a weird topic to talk about on this one, but I feel like a lot of people would like to live their life through VR chat rather than their real life, just because of how the world is.
Yeah.
Which is a good or bad thing depending on how you look at it. But
depends.
Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely a crazy thing, right? VR chat brings a lot of people around the world together for amazing things. I mean, looking at some of the bigger events here in VR chat, some of the charity events that I've gone through, all that type of stuff. It's definitely a crazy thing, right? And
yeah,
not a lot of people get to see that, and that's why these events are so, it's very good to have these events. It proves that people can come together through a platform for an amazing cause.
Exactly.
And obviously, with your group, right? Because you've been running it for, not only through VR chat, but also like through your community, in streaming and everything. I mean, you've definitely had a lot of good fun moments throughout the years, whether it be through, through gaming or whatever the case may be. So I guess out of curiosity, this is a funny question, and I guarantee there's probably some good ones out there. What are some good funny moments that you can't that live in your head rent free when it comes to like your content and your group?
Oh my gosh. So I think the first one I thought of immediately was there's like, I have this thing called like Tangia. A lot of streamers use it. It basically has like things that pop up on your screen that they can redeem. And there's this one where they just have Moist Critical and he's just like, Did I scare you? And it jump scared me. And then we talked about it on stream. So I went back to watch the clip. And while I was watching the clip, it jump scared me again. And then we talked about it again. So I pulled it back up, mentioning how it jump scared me twice. And then it jump scared me again. And I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. And then fast forward to my debut, they made I love my community so much. I want to say that. Like, I love them so much. Like, I really do. And they made me a slideshow for my birthday about me. And they were talking about my like sense of humor or something and showed that clip. And when they showed the clip, it jump scared me again. And I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's just stuff like that. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of moments that live rent free in my head where they do something silly or I do something silly or, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, well, we never get to live those moments down, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Oh man, because obviously, and this is kind of to go back a little bit again, because obviously you've had a lot of redefining moments in your career through VTubing and stuff. So one of the questions I asked, and I asked a few of the other VTubers here on this podcast, what is a moment that, changed your life as a VTuber, that, and this may be emotional thing, whatever the case may be, but what is a moment in your VTuber career that made you extremely thankful for your community, like almost to the point of tears?
I mean, I would say there's just this year, there's been so many. I was going through a really hard time earlier this year, and it was when I was initially going to move. I also was having issues with my PC, so I decided to do a marathon. And I was saving money for that. I put my all into it. I put my all into the incentives. Like, it to this day is still like the most successful thing that I've done. But yeah, there were a lot of tears for sure because like I was for the first time I was honest about the things that I needed. I try not to do that because I don't like putting that burden on my community. I don't want them to feel like they have to support me or feel guilty into supporting me. But on the other side of that, right before that, like there were things that I needed and they got angry at me for not telling them. And they're like, you're just like dealing with this, like, like you can tell us about that kind of stuff. So it was the first time that I was just openly like honest about the things that I needed, what I was going through and like why I needed them. And like without question, they were so supportive. Like we hit every single sub goal, donation goal. We had stretch goals. We got really close to having 1,000 subs on my channel, and I'm not like the biggest channel, so that's crazy. Like we broke every record, and I think every time I've done a marathon or an event since then, we've broken records then too. So it's just like it's I don't know, it's just those moments. Like there's so many this year that I almost just want to say like this whole year. Like my community has had me in tears with their support because they do it without question and they tell me that they want to do it. It makes them happy to support me. And I just am happy that I'm providing something with like entertainment or events or whatever it is for them, that would make people so generous and like so willing to support me.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a very wholesome thing. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of creators definitely make it, their like I made it moment. In
Yeah.
life do be struggle sometimes, and I mean, speaking from
Mm-hmm.
experience, it's definitely one of the most wholesome feelings you can ever feel. Because I can definitely relate to the whole, not telling people about things and then they be angry with me
Yeah.
about it. I mean, we just recently had Puck on the podcast, and it's, he even had that moment, and I feel like every VTuber that, big or small, have had that moment that, makes them feel like they're finally being supported, to some
Mm-hmm.
extent. And and it means a lot. It means the world.
Yeah,
It's
it
definitely
really
a crucial thing.
does.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
man.
they've legitimately made dreams come true this year. Like, the VR chat world helping me move, helping me get a new PC. Now I have tracking that they helped me with for my birthday. And like, just it's just so many things that they've done this year. Like, it's just we would be here forever if I went through everything. But it's so humbling, and it's so, I don't know, it almost feels unreal. Like, there's a part of you that's just like, I don't like, what did I do to deserve this? You know, like, I am doing what I love. And the fact that like you guys allow me to do this and you guys support me through that is just feels like so much already. And then it's like going above and beyond to the degree that they do is just like, it's like, why me? You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. I'm so grateful for it. And will always show that by like sticking around and doing what I can to be a better content creator and make better content.
No, of course. I mean, you're already doing a great job. I'll just say that outright. So,
Thank you.
but yeah, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot that comes into streaming and VTubing, and making sure that you're wanting to put your best self out there. And it's not
Hmm.
always, it's not always the case. There's life strain, whatever the case. Um, so I guess that begs the question here, because obviously, we talked about it a little bit earlier. When it comes to like being a little bit overwhelmed with streaming and events. But obviously, we did talk about you did deal with burnout a couple times. When
Hmm.
so I guess a question for you in this regard. What are some good ways that you have dealt with burnout?
Um, I don't think I deal with burnout well. I'll be completely honest. I'm the type of person that I don't realize I'm burnt out until I'm like already knee deep into the burnout. Like, I just keep going and going, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'm a little tired, or maybe I'm just not feeling inspired. And like, I don't take those as little hints that like, hey, I'm getting burnt out. Um, but this last time I was kind of like at the very, very edge of burnout. And before I took a month and a half break, which is the longest break I've ever taken from streaming, to work on the debut project, to put like everything into that. And granted, it wasn't time off, but having that time to just work on those things and not have them like looming over my head, and really like think about like what I wanted to present. And also, like, it's kind of like any other type of relationship you have. Like, sometimes you got to like give each other time to miss each other. You know what I mean? Like, not saying like intentionally be like, I'm not going to stream so you miss me, but like sometimes having that makes like the reunion so much better. So, like, I don't know, just having something else to focus your energy on, even if it is related to it, because like I spent every waking moment I had, like from the moment I woke up to the moment I passed out, working on stuff for the debut on my time off. But like the fact that I wasn't streaming and I could put all my energy into that without like any type of restrictions with like time or anything like that helped me with my burnout. And I know for people, like, you might need to separate it a bit more. Like, I'm a crazy workaholic, so I always have to like be doing something productive towards something I'm working at to feel good. But like, if you get to that feeling, you might want to, I don't know, maybe take time to work on content plans. I don't know, maybe take a vacation, maybe just take some time off and I don't do some spring cleaning, like whatever your thing is to kind of get back to your happy place, like make sure you start with that. And then like from there, kind of ease your way back in. Like, am I feeling like going back right now? Do I feel like I have things to work on? Do I feel like I have things to do differently? And like, and sometimes those ideas will come to you because you're not like stressing them too. So yeah.
No, I mean,
But
very
other than
respectful.
that, I'm not very good with burnout. I'm trying, and I think I did pretty well this time. But yeah, I'm pretty bad at it too. So you just got to try your best to realize you're being burnt out and try to take care of it before it feels like everything sucks.
Fair. No, I mean, definitely relatable on the not realizing it until you're knee deep into it. I can
Yeah.
definitely relate on that. And it's not a good thing. It's definitely not. I want to make that clear. That's not a good
No,
thing.
it's not.
I'm a hypocrite in my own advice. Make sure to give yourself breaks.
Yeah, it's
it's
harder to recover from like full on burnout than like almost being burnt out.
100%, 100%, and it's
Because it's like you have to find your motivation again from like the bottom every time you burn out. Because it literally is that like little fire, just like, no, I can't anymore, rather than like, okay, it's getting low. Let me like give it time to like heat back up.
no, for sure, and it it's definitely a crazy thing, right? It could happen at any moment. It's never
Mm-hmm.
a planned thing, especially if you're in the content grind. Whether it's streaming or content creation, whatever the case may be, it can happen anytime. And even if you don't pick up on it immediately, once you're that far into the rabbit hole of burnout, it's a climb to get back
Yeah.
out. Oh man. But kind of going a little bit more positive topics, because obviously, you've done quite a bit of things outside of like the whole VTubing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Getting yourself out there. You just released a song recently. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's amazing. So, out of curiosity, what made you want to release a song?
I my entertainment journey actually started with music. Like I was working on music and like really got into wanting that to be my career since I was like maybe 10. And I'd say like I got a really bad opportunity that presented itself as good, and it kind of just made me quit the whole like music field. But it's always been like a love that I have, and like I just thought that the way that I liked music was kind of normal until like talking to other people about music, and I realized like maybe they don't hyperfixate on certain things like I do, or like really care about those types of things. So like I've always been drawn to it. It's always felt like something that I want to do and want to like have some sort of impact in. Um, so I just wanted to get back to that. And I was feeling inspired with everything that I went through this year. I went through like probably some of my highest ups and my lowest lows just in this year. And like that's always been a way that I express myself is like through music or through like writing. And I got with some friends and they really believed in my idea for my project. And here we are working on an album that we were hoping to have out by the time I debuted my last song. But I'm kind of a perfectionist and we're hoping to have it out by like summer of next year.
That's awesome, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad that more VTubers are starting to get into music scenes, because there's a lot of stories
Yeah.
to tell. Yourself
And the thing
included.
is, like, it was kind of nerve wracking because it's not like, I feel like a lot of times when VTuber and like VTubing and music meet, it's kind of like more like idol culture, you know? And I've always been into like Western pop culture, right? Like me and my friends used to call each other like discount TMZ because like whenever anything was happening, we would just all like, I don't know if you guys remember three-way calling. I don't know if that's a thing people even do now with like having apps instead. But we would just like three-way call each other and then just be like, oh my God, did you see that happened? Did you see Beyonce did this? Oh my God, did you hear about da 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 da? And like that was always like what we did. And like, I don't know, I just like started kind of locking back into that. Like even on social media, I'm kind of like interacting with like a lot of pop culture things that I like. But it was really nerve-wracking because like, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know if there's a place for being like I don't want to say regular musician, like not being like a V singer, like kind of like the like covers and like, more like group based songs and things like that. But I don't know. I've always felt like whatever I do, I haven't been identified just as a VTuber. And I don't know if it's because I did all these things before then, but like I've always like done things like I'm just a creator. I'm just a content creator and I do it with a VTuber model. I don't want that to like change how I do things. But it was scary because I thought everyone would expect like something like that. And every time I've released a song, like my community at least has enjoyed it, or I've gotten compliments on it. And, you know, I mean, I have a lot of traction, but like just having people go out of their way to be like, hey, dude, I heard your song. It's awesome. And I'm like, what? Okay, cool. Thanks. You know, it feels really nice. And I want to embrace that again. Like now I can combine those two things because I know I've gone on this for a long time, but quitting music actually led me into streaming. Funny enough, because I've always wanted to entertain and I saw streaming and I'm like, oh, I want to do that. That looks awesome. I didn't know people like cared about me playing video games. I love video games. That's all I do. And now it's like, I don't know. I feel like I said with the like debut was like the evolved version of myself. And I feel like I'm evolving to like incorporate all those things I kind of like maybe had a bad past with and pushed out of my life and like now like make it a part of what I'm doing. And yeah, that was very, very long-winded. I apologize, but
No, you're all good. There's no reason to apologize. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, and that's totally understandable. I mean, that's why this is a podcast and not a shorts reel. But
yeah,
you know, I mean, you've had a lot, like you mentioned, you had a lot of highs this year. I mean, could you possibly? I mean, way back earlier this year. I mean, you met your Oshi, you met Iron Mouse, you know, during
yes.
Sanrio Fest.
Oh,
like,
I want to redo that so bad. I want to redo it so bad. I feel like I was such a dweeb during that. Oh my goodness.
But I mean, not a lot of people can say they had the honor to do that, you know, and that's a crazy thing, right? It's a
Yeah.
wild thing that, you know, mark it off the bucket list, right?
Yeah, that was not something I was expecting to do. And it's kind of funny because it happened like completely by accident. Because I was kind of helping out with like Sanrio V Fest stuff. So I was like, okay, let me like get familiar with the worlds. And like I watch Mousy stream. She's my Oshi. Like I don't watch a lot of streams personally, but I don't, it's rare that I miss a mouse stream. So like as she was going through them, and I assume her being Iron Mouse was going through private instances, I was also going through my own private instances. And when she was on that last world, I was like, okay. And I crashed in VR chat. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to stream soon anyway. And then I'm like, well, I haven't seen this world, so let me get back on. And accidentally went into a public instance, which I assume she probably accidentally went into one too, because I don't know why she was there unless she was just in public instances the whole time. And that's horrifying. But but yeah, like I heard an echo from the stream and then saw the name and I was like, oh my God. So like I kind of went over, but like not in the way because I don't want to just be like all up in her stream, like, hey, right?
Yeah.
But she like kind of saw me and she was like, oh, I'm gonna move. So this girl can see. And I was like, oh, I just want to say hi. And then she walked up to me and I was visibly shaking. Like I normally have like, I don't know. Everyone says I have like this like cool aesthetic. I don't know, whatever. The way I present myself, that was all gone. That was gone. It was gone. And I was so nervous when I met her, but she was really, really nice. Like I'm surprised she came up to me at all, but yeah,
No,
it was really cool to be able to meet her.
For sure. And she's one of the most kindest people out there when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, recently, and this is very recently, from your Twitter, you know, she actually did shout you out, you know, on her channel to, you know, her people. You know, I mean that's crazy.
That was that like made my whole month, I swear.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a crazy thing. She's probably one of the most influential VTubers out there when it comes to what she does and, you know, all the content she puts out and charity events she's done, like raising money for the charity and all that. It's definitely a crazy thing.
It's the way she does it too. It's the way she interacts with her community because like I know a lot of people feel like really big streamers like don't see what they're saying in chat or like don't care. And like I feel like sometimes you see people who are higher up and like I don't mean this in like a bad way at all, but like they're more focused on like me, you know, like pay attention to me, what I'm doing. And like that's fine because every stream's different. But like she goes out of her way to like pay attention to her chat with all that chaos going on. She goes out of the way to like talk to them and connect with them. And like, I love that so much because like, that's how I always want to be as a streamer. And it's so motivational to see someone in a like level of success that like you couldn't even imagine, but they stay true to that part of them and they care about the people around them. And like, you know, they don't see their community as just like numbers or just like people that are there just to support them. Like they're also there for them too. And, you know, like that's why she's my OG. Because that's how I am with my community and I love them to death. And, you know, I don't like the idea that you can't be like that with the people around you in order to like be successful. You know what I mean? Or at those levels, you can't be like that.
No, for sure. I mean, it's definitely an inspiration to a lot of people. You know, and I kind of in agreement with you. I do wish people would take a page out of her book when it comes to that, because I mean, it is very inspirational and the ideal of what Twitch streamers should be like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, kind of to move on, you know, we love you, Iron Mouse, but we're you know, because kind of to wrap things up, because we are a little bit overtime. Actually, this did not feel like an hour.
Oh, it didn't. Oh my goodness. I'm a yapper. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, it's all good. You know, so obviously, you know, with everything you're doing, you know, between content creating, VTubing, and everything, if there is one piece of advice that you can give for somebody who's wanting to do what you do, what would it be?
I would definitely say stay true to yourself. And I know like that's a piece of advice like a lot of people will give, but I'll give it with a bit more context. I know my biggest struggle as a content creator, and it took me a lot longer than I wish it took me to get through, was that I felt like there was this idea of a content creator that I wanted to be. And I kept trying to fit that mold, whether it be what game am I playing, or whether it be like, what vibe am I going to have in my stream? What music am I playing in my stream? And things like that. And I realized that I became a lot more successful when I just played music that I like, played games that I like, whether they're popular or not, you know? Talked about things that I enjoy, you know, like I started being really open with my community about like things that I struggle with, like my health and mental health. And I realized a lot of people have those struggles and they feel very alone in it. And that's not, no one will tell you to do that. Cause like, I mean, I don't advise doing that if it's not true to you, but it's just that level of like being genuine and putting a piece of yourself into your content. Like staying true to yourself is very, very important. It really is. People can see that. People connect with that. And, you know, maybe for some people it's playing a character, but for others, and when it's not, like you don't have to try to play your own character. Just literally just be yourself. And there's so many people who will connect with that on so many different levels. And it may take a while, you know, it will. I'm definitely the example of the long road, but I'm very happy at where I'm at because of staying true to myself. And I've definitely seen like the most growth as a person in my community and like even numbers wise, you know, and things like that. So, yeah.
No, for sure. And sometimes the long road is the best road. You know, the journey along the way can be very memorable. And I think you've shown that very well.
And then I've seen like, I've been around so long, like I've done this for 11 years. I've seen so many different types of careers play out. And I've seen some people get really far not being themselves. And even when they get there, they don't feel happy or satisfied, you know? And like, that's not what it's about. You know what I mean? It's about getting there. Obviously, everyone wants to be able to have a career doing something like this. It's an awesome job. It's the coolest job. I'm grateful I can do it even to this extent. But um, like if you're not yourself when you get there, then it's not going to feel like you, and your heart's not going to be in it. So yeah.
100%, 1000% even. It's definitely a crazy thing. And obviously you've had many friends along the way, whether through collabs, through events, whatever the case may be. And obviously you're very thankful for all of that when it comes to,
Yeah, of course.
everything. So if you had a message, to kind of conglomerate them, and if you had to say a thank you message, what would that thank you message be?
Well, to my friends, I want to thank them for believing in me when even I didn't. There's plenty of times where, because I deal with my own mental health struggles and things like that, and everyone deals with confidence issues, there's plenty of times where I haven't felt like I was good enough, where I doubt myself, where I get in my own head. And I talk to them, and like, I'm very grateful to have friends that are honest, but also like they see me. They actually see me, and they believe in me because they see that. Having that circle around you is, I don't know. I went a very long time not really like having a lot of friends because entertainment can be a little volatile, and I kind of got a little paranoid. But having that, even if it's just one or two people around you, having that circle around you it makes all the difference. And I appreciate you guys for it. And then to my community, I love you guys. Thank you guys for just being wonderful people. No matter what we do together, like everyone says good things about you. I always will say good things about you. And yeah.
Hell yeah.
My little rare drops for a reason.
For sure. Oh man. Well, Skulls, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This was an absolute blast to have you on.
Of course.
I know we both have busy ass schedules, so it's like I'm glad we finally got the time to put aside to get you on, and this is an honor.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm very honored to be here. I'm glad you wanted to talk, and you gave me a place to talk about what I do a little bit more. Like I love what I do. I'm very passionate about what I do. So any opportunity to talk about it, I will definitely take.
Of course. And we'll also see you at Project Festmas this year, which should already be announced. So definitely, if you're not familiar with that, you should definitely go look at a Project Community, of course. We'll have Skulls' booth again. So
yes, so you guys can come see it. Come play with all the things on my table.
Oh man, it was definitely an interesting process for that, but
yeah.
We don't talk about that. I may or may not have been the one that made it, but it's fine. But
that's why it's so good. He won't admit it.
Shush. With the time frame, I did as much as I could. That's all I can say on that front. But yeah, no. Before we do end things off, I do want to give you a spot to, shout out anything you want on screen in the description, any links, any of that stuff, projects you may have upcoming that you want to tease, whatever the case. But yeah, feel free to let them know where they can find you.
Of course. So I stream mostly on Twitch, so you can find me at twitch.tv/SkullsNightShade. I should be back to my regular schedule by the time this is out, so check me out. I'm usually on evenings. Check out my new music. It's on all streaming platforms. Just look up SkullsNightShade. My newest song is Royalty. We also did a remastered version of my song Act 1 that came out last year. So those should be my two recent. Also, you can check out my YouTube channel. I have little visualizers for two of the songs on there. And speaking of YouTube channels, my main YouTube channel, if you like Sonic content, if you like Phantasy Star content, any random thing that I'm hyper fixated on, and fashion, lots and lots of fashion, check out youtube.com/ at SkullsNightShade. And yeah, that's basically it. SkullsNightShade in most places. Twitter, Skulls_VT. Yeah, if you guys check out the Afterlife and VR chat, let me know what you think about it. Make sure to add it to your favorites. It's an awesome, awesome world made by the wonderful Showpow, and I think that's it.
Of course. And also, if you're
That's a lot of things.
and you still forgot one. Skulls also does have a VR chat group as well. So if you are interested, if you are interested in joining her VR chat group, all of her links are also in the VR chat group as well. But if you go to after.2140, you can also join the VR chat group, join the Afterlife, be a rare job, all that type of stuff. I think that's everything, probably.
Yeah.
I think
that's everything.
Well, thank you again so much for coming on. This was an absolute blast. But yeah, I think that's everything. But ladies, gentlemen, everybody inside and outside the ballpark, that has been it for episode 90 of the Noved Notes podcast. I want to thank you all so much for watching, listening, depending on what platform you're on. Comment down below. What is your favorite Sonic game? Why not?
Yes.
Comment down below your favorite Sonic game down below. I guarantee Skulls will be interested in maybe seeing what you guys can come up with. But yeah. If you are coming back to check out some of the other episodes or coming back to see some of my other content, feel free to hit that subscribe button, like button, all that jazz, or follow button, depending on which platform you're listening to. But yeah, I think that's everything. I messed up my outro for the past 4 episodes. I think that's everything. But
play slay, have a good day.
There you go. But with that, I want to thank you all one last time for being here all the way to the end of the episode. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care and peace. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Noved Club.